Nothing
See you
for
next
yourself.
Monday.
Yeah, it was really good.
Tuesday.
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 Remind me, right?
Yes, Kate, get everybody on the list.
Okay, how many people are on your list?
Can I have a motion to accept the budget calendar for the 2013-14 year? Nancy and Chris. Becky, thank you. That's, we've never had one of those before. Not saying anything negative about anybody else, it's good, I like it.
For me, it being new, I found it very useful and, to even start the conversations that we need to discuss. And so I'm definitely glad we did.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to accept the tax roll
No. Return on unpaid school taxes.
return? Oh, okay, certifying the foregoing list of unpaid school taxes in the amount of $165,584. Who was that, Rick?
Second.
Thank you, Reggie. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to declare obsolete the list of items presented from the library? Lynn?
I'll second.
And Mandy? Questions?
Do we have recipients of this stuff yet?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Julie just turned this in.
Oh, I'll take Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes.
I haven't heard that
I'll
in a
keep
long
that in
time.
mind. A
So,
lot of things we just put out, cards kids take.
yeah.
So we'll look for, I'll put a list out tomorrow for Rumpkin.
I'll bet you I haven't heard that one in 35 years.
We'll save it for yours.
And anything that's left, will we offer it to the libraries in the area?
I don't know, if Julie has a process, you know,
Right.
when I send it to her, so I think that's something she's gonna.
Okay.
But I will check with her.
All in favor?
I-
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to approve the revision to policy 5520, the extracurricular activity fund?
So,
Reggie
So,
and Chris. Discussion?
The only thing that really changed on that was the policy that you folks had already accepted. What we changed was the wording where it said that a faculty member would oversee, it is now going to be a staff member. So that, or a district employee actually, so that it's not necessarily the teacher.
So in response to that policy, when I was reading it, I noticed that we don't bring fundraisers before the board, and it would appear that we should be bringing them before the board to be approved then. So I will get a list together of the calendar, and usually we do it in June, so that I could give it to the board,
For the July meeting.
yeah, to have it for the whole year in place for fundraising for classes.
All in favor?
Just one more thing, this policy also relates to another policy, and that is the 1336 policy, which also talks about the central treasurer and the facility auditor. Just make sure that what we have in our books, because we have approved the large book, these are already approved then. Is that correct?
Correct.
If they are already rewritten in the new book.
Right.
Okay. Because these things that I keep getting are revisions from the state, but these haven't been compared to the big book. And as I go through them, I think these were listed as I received them, but what you have written down as the change is the only thing that's not in there.
Right, that's our particular district need. that we
Yeah,
need
but
to
I think
change.
we may want to look at 1336 and make sure that what they call the faculty auditor is what we're gonna call it now. So we'll just have to check on that policy also when I bring it in, I'll check it and see if it's worded the same way.
So all in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to approve the revision to policy 7330? Searches and interrogation of students. Mandy? And Chris? Questions, discussion?
This again was just a recommended, one of the things we did not have within our policy dealt with the general deterrent effect, which is under lockers. So we did change that within our plan to say basically for the safety of everyone, we do these things. And that was not in our original policy.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to approve the revision to the handbook regarding promotion, retention for students in grades 5 through 8? Rick and Reggie? Lynn, sorry about that. Questions, comments?
Shelby, you want to speak to that a little?
There are definitely changes from this from the last one. And one of the main things that the committee wanted to do would be proactive in getting support and tutoring to students in the school year rather than wait until they fail and then address it with summer school. So one of the first pieces, that first bullet, is to bring a homework club in, and I've got 4 teachers that are ready to start working on this for this year because we're at the end of the first marking period. We're targeting starting up right after Thanksgiving vacation, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But if we get it going for this year and we keep it in place for next year, we'd like to start the progress report time in the 5-week, which was the original thought. The program after school, Amy and I will get the list of all the students who are failing a class. If they are 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th graders in the after-school program, we will probably talk to Diane Durham, who's in charge of that program, to try to keep them involved in that program, but still identify they need more academic tutoring in order to get their grades up to passing grades. We're planning on getting the list of failing students who might be failing class, getting letters drafted up, and sending them to parents. And this program would not be at any cost to the parents. So that would be the reason they have busing Tuesdays and Thursdays. They can ride the 4:30 bus home, and we would take care of paying for the tutoring that's going on during those 2 days. Students who fail one course for the first time are encouraged to attend summer school, but not mandated. Students who are failing the same course 2 years in a row, we felt should be expected to attend summer school. So if they're deficient in English, ELA in 5th grade, they're deficient again in 6th grade, and nothing has changed, we need to get on that. Students who have failed more than 2 core subject areas would be expected or mandated, whatever term you want to use, to attend summer school in order to go on to the next school level. The students would be given a program set up by their teacher of record for summer school because they know where their weaknesses are and where they need to be teaching going on and work completed a second time. We did add Spanish. Here it was not in the other one, but 8th graders do have to take Spanish, and we consider that a core class for the subject areas. Students who choose, students who are expected to attend summer school for failing classes and choose not to attend would be retained in their current grade. So, like I said, our hope is to get them to June where nobody's failing because they've been getting the tutoring. Students who fail 3 or more core subject areas would be retained in their current grade, and summer school would not be an option. Students in grades 5 or 6 who receive a grade lower than 65% in 1 or 2 classes are eligible for the EK summer school program because there is no regional summer school at the elementary level. For the 7th and 8th graders, though, there is, and there's 3 or 4 different things we're looking at for the 7th and 8th graders. If a student's grades in the failed classes are between 60 and 64, they may attend the EK summer school program. If a student's grades are below 60 in 1 or more core subject areas, they would need to attend a regional summer school because it's a longer program and they'll need more time in all of those subjects. We did say, though, sometimes we get a student who's failing 60 to 64 in one, but less than a 60 in the other. If there is room in this program, they would bring them in. We tried to say a maximum number of 12 students in the 8K program for the summer. If a student's grades are below 60% in 2 core subject areas, he or she may only attend a regional summer school provided in the county. Students receiving a 63 or a 64 who have completed 80%, is it? Yeah, I think it's 80%. Yes, the student must have completed 80% of coursework, and the extra work or assignment must be mutually agreed upon. If a student gets a 63 or 64, they're entitled to have an extra work project that the teacher gives them, like the last 2 weeks of school, where they have a deadline, they have to have that work in, and that's agreed upon. But if a student has not completed 80% of their homework, the teacher will not give them a project to do. So that's another way that we did have one student that's how they got through a course, and he did have to do a substantial amount of work to bring that grade up. So that's the options for the 7th and 8th graders. Summer school would be a 4-week program like it was this past year, and the committee felt because we were offering the tutoring program after school, that summer school should have a nominal charge of $65, so that would encourage kids to, encourage parents to get their kids into the after-school program with tutoring. The thought, too, is that if we're going on, you know, if they've started, they've been 10 weeks and they're getting 2 days extra of support, and something is still not working, that they're not passing, then there's some problem that has to be identified, and I think that you would go to your child study team, right? At that point, we would take it to our, you know, we'd have parent-teacher conference, figure out what is going on and what do we need to do different. Is trying to make it so kids don't fail. Teacher of record would set up the summer school course. We would have an online instructional program where they would design the course for the specific needs of that student. And at the end of the time, students, the work that they do in summer school would replace the grades that they're getting during the school year for those same units of study, pretty much, that they failed. So it's kind of a mastery concept, and if they can show they understand it, then why do we keep penalizing them? Because they got failing grades during the school year in some particular unit. Let's see. I think it says a student who does not pass one or both courses may be retained depending on their progress. They might need to continue working through the month of August, but then it's going to be at the parent with the parent's help. But it still can be done at home, it still can be graded. And then I think we would put together a committee that says the decision will be made by a committee composed of the summer school teacher, the administrator, the parent, and the teacher of record from the prior year to determine whether that student was ready to move on or not. We also put in that we didn't think some parents realized that they had the option to request that their child be retained, even though the teacher says that they're ready to move on. If a student is struggling and a teacher and a parent feels it's in the child's best interest to give them the gift of time and repeat a grade, we wanted parents to know that that's an option. Let's see, I think everything else is what was in there before.
Do we have to provide transportation?
Well, we have transportation through the extended day program. We hooked up so that last year our 4 weeks were the same 4 weeks that the after-school program was in place. So there was transportation from DeGrasse Fire Hall, Russell Fire Hall, and Edwards Fire Hall for kids to get here last year.
But we don't know that extended day program will be here when it's after this June. So by
I
saying
thought it
that
was a 3-year program.
this is the last year. July 1 starts a new year. We're in our 3rd year. Aren't we? Are we in our 2nd year?
We're in our
I thought we
second
had
year.
another year.
Oh, okay,
We're in our second
okay, so we
year.
have one more summer then.
We should,
Sorry.
because it came in my second year meeting.
The notification of parents. The parents aware of this?
This is what the committee, we had a retention committee that got together.
How's
And
it-
in the handbook, it said that we were working on it. There's nothing in the handbook that says what the retention policy is. But as soon as the board was notified, or the board confirmed that this is how they wanted to go, we will have to disseminate all the information.
The $65 thing. What if the parent says, well, I can't pay that? What's gonna happen?
Well, we're trying to push the emphasis, Reggie, that they should then be coming during the school year so that we prevent getting to that position is what we're trying to do.
That should be enforced in that letter, though, to make sure that they know.
Correct. In the policy, it's one of the first, in the first bullet, in bold, this program will be free to parents, the tutoring program. That was the point of the committee, was to make it proactive and get on top of kids who are failing prior to failing and try to prevent that from being the case, and then always try and play catch-up in the summer to where they should have been by June. If there are kids who have definite issues academically, they should be caught in that school year and dealt with, and I think that it would probably come to us having to look at, with this particular, some students do need another year if they're failing beyond a certain amount of classes. And what's been happening is they could pass even if they failed one. So if you're continuing to fail the same class each year, I don't know where your catch-up to getting, well, I do know where it is. It's in 9th grade when you have to pass a class, and now you can't pass that math class because you failed math for 3 years, or English, or whatever class it happens to be. So that's what the committee came up with. And we had teacher representation, we had community member, board member, who's our parent?
Andy Webb,
Community.
community member. Jen Hotel was going to be there, but she never was there when I was.
Right.
Very committed teachers. Working on it.
And teachers-wise, there were probably 4 or 5 at least that were middle school teachers very interested in how this should be done. It does push it up a level. I mean, at first, the committee was like, if they're failing one, they're to summer school. And we kind of backed off on, you can fail for a year because there's mistakes, but if you fail that same thing 2 years in a row, then we better do something, it needs to be
Because
addressed.
it's just passing them on without them getting the skills, and that is for them to get the skills, not.
Is this being shown in the 5th grade teachers?
All but probably, there was only one core teacher in the 5th and 6th that wasn't on the committee, and our math, I guess our math didn't see it at the middle school. Our social studies and our English were both on it.
And that was a general
Everyone has signed off on it. Their concern, the ones that, their final concern was that it does say that we would use an online instructional program for Odysseyware, and that they don't feel yet that they know enough about constructing the course, which is why I've been back in touch with Kelly Woodman, and we're setting up more instruction for those teachers to get more comfortable with how to use the program. Last year, if you remember, we only had 2 students in grades 5 through 8 that were eligible for our summer school, But last year, I think you had to be failing 2 to actually have to go to summer school. So it'll be interesting. Our report cards come out this Friday to see where our kids are standing as far as academics go, to get a good handle on what are we really looking at, you know, as the year goes by.
I do think there should be some clause if a child who is under free and reduced, there should be some look at.
So we just add that in some place.
Right.
So it'd be pretty much the same idea as the AP exams, those that are entitled to free exams based on that. Okay. Can I have?
No,
I'll
I
have to
can
do
add
it.
it on there.
No. So this is the first reading anyway, right? So we'll bring it back again in a couple of weeks, and everybody should think about it, and you can go from there.
By that time.
And
all
the
the
fee
teachers-
to go to the regional summer schools is about 65. It's about the same fee. That is, so that we didn't just like pull that number out of the air. That's what it costs for the kids to go to Governor, I'm pretty sure, and to Canton or Ogdensburg for the regional summer school.
By the time this comes up for, it'll be signed off by all the teachers.
I can do that, present it. The ones that weren't on the committee, I can do that.
Is that our recommend to make this motion first reading?
Will that give you time to get this rolling?
Our next board meeting will still be in November, so it'll be very close, but we should be all right. I mean, we can start the homework club no matter if this is the policy in place or not.
Well, that's, let's say, we are in the process of creating.
Right.
So we're not really approving this tonight then. Do we still need the motion to approve the first reading? Okay.
This is the first time it's been presented to you, and usually we do it twice through before we
Right.
put it in some place.
I'm just
Oh, it's not
gonna-
policy.
It's not hot, so,
Right.
It's
So-
like to have 2 readings.
Right.
okay.
So we, and sometimes when we do the whole handbook, we often do it as 2, because it's just the minutes.
Okay. All in favor of approving the first reading? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to approve the safety net options for students with disabilities regarding earning a local diploma? Andy? Lynn? Question, discussion?
Can you briefly explain what the safety net program?
Safety net is for special ed students who are in Chesapeake. I'm trying to find it. Linda put this together for us. This is what came down from state ed, basically, and school districts have to either approve or deny, obviously, if they wish to deny, they should, but it's to benefit our students. So,
Are you looking for her form?
I just know that 8 on it, I think, in my order of papers. Basically, the safety net, the state has said, you know, different points, what scores a student who was classified can get. So they, you know, they had extended it up to the 9th grade class, basically had a safety net. What they have now added, though, is for the required exams, they're saying that now a student with a disability can get between 45 and 54 on certain tests, global science, US history, if they're able to pass their other tests at 65. What was going to happen is that previously students had to get 55 or higher, and that whole thing was going to be pulled away, and everybody would have to get a 65. So now what the state is doing is stepping back in and saying, we're going to put another safety net in place to help these students, you know, to ease it instead of make it much quicker and pull it away.
See, they used to have another layer of tests called a RCT,
Right.
and they got rid of, and they went to just 55 or higher. Now they've realized they're gonna have kids that can't pass under that criteria, so now what do we do? So they added another layer, basically.
What do we
But it's
consider
crazy.
students with disabilities? Is that
Yeah,
IEP or is that
Classified.
any identifiable student or?
No, just classified student who go through CSE.
Okay,
504s do not count,
okay, good.
only IEPs.
Okay.
So then you'll see too that if they fail one at a 45 to 54, they're allowed to, they must pass one at a 65 or higher. So it'll be just Linda that has to keep track of that sort of information.
Just,
And it's crazy actually when you really read it. If they fail two, if they pass two at a 45 to 54, then they have to pass the other two at a 65 or higher. It's
I can't imagine trying to explain this to a parent.
well, it's just insane, and that's
I don't know
why the
how to do it.
RCT was such a good out.
Right.
And unfortunately, the state didn't agree. But for some kids, you know, some students will never pass their ELA above 55 to
Right.
60. So at least that is there and set that they can still get that.
Well, they have to still get a 55 at least on your ELA or math to be able to get,
Right. That's what I'm saying, at least that they still have that.
yes. But it allows them to score low on the global if they can score high in the ELA, or low on the science because they can score high in math.
Right.
Just more for the
Well, it's still trying to somewhat level the playing field for those students.
I think they should go back to the RCT to really level it though, and they're not
Right.
going to take
Well,
that
they're
step
gonna
back.
face that way.
Right.
So,
Education.
That's what I'm just saying.
They're paying for another test.
Right. That's why it is.
all in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. The only thing I see, I guess, that we haven't talked about was the school food service consulting.
I didn't know if we would get to that. The reason that I
Okay.
put it on, I had just gotten it over the weekend, and I wanted you folks to be able to get it, obviously. And I didn't send it to Kathy as well, so that there was no hidden agenda. But it might be something that we spend more time talking about the next time. But I would let you look at it, read it over. It had some interesting things. No surprises, I think, from anything that she had said to us in person. So, and then there'll be another report to follow. She's given a few homework assignments to Kathy and to Becky. I don't know why, and you know why, because your email
Emails
from me,
are-
your R email
Yeah.
from me. So we'll see, in a couple of weeks, or actually more like a month and a half, I think we'll be getting something else from TV.
Okay.
We knew that Kathy, which was a Sixth Sense thing that she was working on, would not be able to do this through November. And it'd be into December before she could do her homework assignments.
So maybe we can do the principal reports now.